shenanigans.
We are live. Oh, kiss it. Well, it's almost 9:30. One more minute.
That's the ish part of things.
Ish. 9:30-ish.
I'm going to stress the ish, but we're down to 1 minute, and it's not like to count down here. But the shenanigans, oh my.
The coffee's getting cold, so we had to start. Kevin made the coffee early. Way to go, Kevin. Way to go.
Mine's nice and warm because I have an insulated mug.
Well, how come I don't have an insulated mug?
Well, good
You've
question.
never bought me one.
You usually just use a soup bowl.
It's not a soup bowl. It's a mug.
Yeah, that's half a soup bowl.
Whatever. Salud.
Salud.
For our Mexican friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sorry we weren't around yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take people by surprise with randomness. What can you do?
Well, I wasn't planning on having 2 seizures.
Really, eh?
So.
I wasn't planning on that either. Not one bit.
That wasn't yesterday. That was Wednesday, though. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday early morning. I had a grand mal seizure in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had one on the couch.
Later
Wednesday evening.
Later afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fun times.
Fun times. Yeah. So I just spent 2 days sleeping on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
Yeah.
You know, that would be probably a decent topic for today.
Was that sleeping on the couch? I mean,
Not exactly, Kevin. Not exactly. Honestly. Like, seriously. Oh, my God.
what?
Oh,
What's a good topic then? Tell me.
it's really good coffee, by the way. Very good coffee.
I know.
Yeah.
We still haven't done the video, but
Well, that's my fault.
I will explain in detail right now because it's shit simple, folks. Like
No,
it's
but-
really no, it's shit simple, right? Just brew your coffee, however you're brewing your coffee. We use a French press, and we go for some volume because it takes us like an hour plus to drink this between the two of us.
Yeah.
So it's just about proportion. And all you're doing is you're adding cream, butter, and whatever sweetener you want.
But it's not that easy. You always warm it up
No, but
on the stove.
no. So
The butter and the
one
cream.
thing that you should do is to melt your butter and mix your cream and honey or whatever you're using on the stove as well. Don't boil it, just melt it and warm it up so that the cream and butter doesn't scavenge heat off your coffee as you pour it.
CC is very particular about how we
It's just making sure everything's warm, right? And you pre-warm your mugs because we boil water because we're using a French press. And I put hot water in the mugs.
Yeah.
So the mugs are nice and warm. That way the coffee, when it's poured, stays warmer longer.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. And then all you need is a blender. So once you do that, it's just an experimentation too, because what I do here is not going to probably work for somebody else.
Yeah, and Kevin needs really dark coffee too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a super strong coffee, right? In the mix.
Mexico, we couldn't find strong coffee. We had a hard time finding strong coffee.
Espresso was probably the closest.
Espresso, yeah.
Espresso roast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that it's pretty simple, and you stick it all in a blender and just blend the shit out of it.
Yeah.
We like the Vitamix because it has the Super Mondo power setting.
Bing! Done.
Super fast, super frothy, and it's well blended.
I'm not seeing froth today.
No, you didn't because you were shenaniganing too much shenanigans this morning. Coffee was done, and I got the froth this morning.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's not nice, Kevin.
But anyway, it's super simple. However much butter you think you want, and some cream.
Yeah, and because it's so high fat, you do tend to go
like a
a
meal.
long time. It is like a meal.
It's like a meal.
Really.
Because
Yeah.
we won't eat till like mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah.
So what was this brainstorm idea you had to talk about today? Something about seizures?
Oh, well, I was just gonna like I was just gonna talk about maybe near-death experiences.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't relate, so it'll be all you.
You can relate because
I can relate from a witness perspective. But that's about it. Meaning witnessing you.
Oh, Kevin. Anyway, it's just I know that people are interested in that kind of topic.
Sure.
You know, near-death experiences. So.
Well, people I think are interested in what happens after
Death. Yeah.
Well, we watched a super good show last night. When was that made?
Well, it was
recent or no?
No, I
The
think
experiments were years ago.
Yeah, like they started making it, I think, back in 2017 or something.
Well, so it's been an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
So they've, what was it called?
It was shoot.
There's one of the groups that was in the Global Consciousness Project.
Yeah.
They were highly involved in these.
And the Heart Math Institute.
Yes.
Yeah. Greg Braden.
Yeah. So it's really, really good, and we can send the link out.
Yeah, it was really good.
Strongly recommend people watch it.
Well, I can find it here.
Because what's happening is that there's becoming more awareness. Bruce Lipton was on it as well. And he's been researching this stuff for years.
Yeah.
There's becoming more awareness of the fact that we live in an energetic sea.
You think?
Every single thing that is of us and about us and with us is all energy.
Well, they're also really starting to, lean into this idea too that we are living in assimilation.
True.
They're really feeling that's probably truer all the time.
But the assimilation is born of our perceptions,
Uh-huh.
of our experiences.
Right.
Right? That's what assimilation is. Because assimilation is, but the most important thing about this is that our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings can affect this field.
Oh, it's the field.
It's called the field, the one field.
Yeah.
The one field. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
The one field, the number one.
Yeah.
The number one field, right?
You can find it on Greg Braden's official channel too. That's where we found it.
Strongly recommend because
really well done.
We reference this experiment.
Lynn McTaggart's in it. And
we actually reference this experiment in some of our trainings, and that is that in 1996, I do believe, they did a major meditation experiment in Washington, D.C. Hey, Velda, good morning.
Morning, Velda.
Good morning. They did a major meditation experiment in Washington, D.C., and the goal of the experiment was to see whether or not we humans, with our intentions and energy in meditation, could affect reality. So they brought together hundreds and thousands of, they would be considered professional meditators, people that are experienced in this transcendental meditation people, into Washington, D.C., and they had them set up, I believe it was over a weekend or 3 or 4 days. And what they did was these folks took turn, they did a shift rotation where the entire weekend there was always people meditating.
Yeah.
So this is probably the largest of the experiments.
This was a long time ago.
But they do reference it in this show.
Yeah. And they proved it again.
And they proved it again, but in shorter periods.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff is measurable. So what they wanted to see in this experiment in Washington was whether or not there could be actually a quantifiable change in what was going on in society, because there was a lot of violence, right? A lot of violent crime. Yeah. Shall I say?
Yep.
And they had everybody on board. The police were on board, like everyone.
Yeah.
To do this because they wanted to see what was going to happen. And the outcome was actually shocking.
Yeah, the drop in crime rate over the weekend. Yeah.
There was a quantifiable and quantifiable drop in violent crimes.
Yeah.
That weekend, with no other explanation.
Yeah.
At all, other than this exercise was going on.
Yeah.
So people would get together, meditate on love and peace and harmony.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So during this documentary, they did the same thing, same examples, but they did it for the Middle East. They did it for a state, the worst crime street in the U.S. I don't remember which state it was in, actually. You
Was it in
recall?
Chicago?
No. St. Louis? No.
Oh no, there's a
Anyway,
place.
doesn't matter.
There was a place in the U.S. where one block was considered to be like the deadliest block in the U.S.
I think they said
Or-
the world.
or the world, something like that. Just
Anyway, they proved multiple times
with instrumentation.
With instrumentation, yeah, they proved multiple times that just by meditating for a period of time, that they were able to lower the violent crime rate and bring peace to an area.
And it didn't matter where you were on the planet.
Yeah, because it was remote. I mean, energy
They had,
flows, right?
Like 50 some countries participating.
Yeah.
People from 50 some countries.
You don't have to be in close proximity. You know,
They had people in India that were meditating on this.
Yeah.
But it was all at the same time.
Yeah.
So
and they made a marked difference. I believe it was in Pakistan too, was it not?
it was something to do with that.
Afghanistan, like there was a few places where there were a lot of violent crimes.
Hugely
happening.
recommend watching this because
Yeah.
what this proves in the end is that our thoughts
Have
and
an impact.
feelings have an impact on the field that can actually
affect
reality.
Yes, affect other people in the
So
world.
if it's not only your own reality, but you're affecting everyone else's reality.
Yeah. So it
So-
truly is a beautiful thing. It really
Bruce
is.
Lipton puts this really, really nice because he says every animal in the planet uses energy for sensing survival needs.
Yeah, vibration.
Because the example he uses is the gazelle eating grass in the savannah, and all of a sudden there's a leopard that's close by. What happens? The gazelle is on high alert.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Maybe they see it, but they'll sense it first.
They do.
Leopard chases gazelle.
Vibration. It's vibration.
Gazelle runs away, gets away.
Yeah.
15 minutes later, it's back to eating grass.
Mhm.
If it lives, right?
Because it lets it go. It doesn't hold on to it. Yeah. We
Morning,
could probably
Laurie.
learn a little bit from a gazelle.
Yeah, but it uses that when it needs it.
Yeah.
And then it lets it go.
The fight or flight response is meant to be a temporary thing anyway, and we're not supposed
Let's
to
survive.
stay in it. It's not supposed to become a chronic
But
situation.
what do we humans do,
We hold on to it.
right?
Yeah.
And we recreate.
Yeah.
We recreate that in ourselves. So
In our
here's an
minds.
interesting concept.
Yeah.
Those of you that joined us, I don't know, it was last time or the time before when I mentioned the bow tie.
Yeah.
Is that what I did the last time?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Anyway, the bow tie is this potential model of reality where the knot of the bow tie is sliding on the strands of time.
Yeah.
And everything coming out of the back end of the bow tie is the past.
That's right.
And everything going in to the front end of the bow tie is
The
the
future.
potential futures.
Potential future. That's right.
So when you think about two concepts,
You're going right into teaching mode today.
no, but then we're going to go back to this energy thing, right?
Well, I wanna mention what they had mentioned, which is what we teach too in our trainings. But when you change the future,
Right.
you actually change your present and the past.
Well, it's even more important that when you deal
That's
with
an
the
interesting
past,
concept.
when you deal with your past,
You change
Right.
your future.
what you're doing is you're changing the energetic signature of the effect that has on you now.
You actually can change your past, just so you know, like you can. You can. We've
Mhm.
done it like hundreds, thousands of times.
Lots.
Yeah, lots of times.
But think about this, just as a mental exercise and a concept. Now I'm a bit annoyed at the system because the system.
No.
Oh, head shake, eye roll. I love it.
No, you aren't annoyed at the system, not at all.
No, but think about this. Anyone heard PTSD? What's that? What's PTSD?
Post-traumatic
Okay, so everyone's
stress
heard that, right?
disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard of that.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's a D on the end? What's the D stand for?
Disorder.
Disorder.
Yeah.
So the only reason there's a D on the end is so people can throw fucking drugs at it.
So they can diagnose you
It.
and
throw
then
fucking
give you a
drugs at it.
drug. That's
it.
That's just what
It's just post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
Now, for all of us to say we've never had stress,
Oh,
we'd be lying to ourselves.
that's right.
So some sort of trauma that we've experienced at some point, what happens is that with a post-traumatic stress moment in the now, is your mind recreates that moment by some trigger, and brings it into the now. It's already gone, like it's past.
Yeah, the event itself is past.
It's gone.
But we keep recreating it in our
mind,
minds, which is what creates the PTS.
So is it a disorder, or is it something that we have to deal with?
Yeah. It's the thing is, the whole point is that people need to be empowered and realize that they're creating this. This isn't something that's completely out of your control. You know, it isn't something. Now, that said, I understand that there are some cases where people
every case is different.
Every case is different,
every
of
person
course.
is different.
Right?
Every individual.
But generally speaking, right, we do create these things ourselves in our own minds, and that's why we end up feeling the same stress.
Remember my story about the anger triggers?
Yeah, you used to have anger triggers.
Where were they? Oh, I think one was right here. So if someone pushed it, it was like zing. Right. Zing. Right?
Anger wasn't my
issue.
So
a trigger, think about post-traumatic stress, right? There would be a trigger in the now.
Yeah.
And then that would set a cascade of things going on inside the body, biochemical.
That have nothing to do with the current situation.
Nothing to do with current situations. That's all past, like it's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And this is just a mental exercise to think through things. Now think about one other thing that's people love to say.
What?
Have you ever noticed that sometimes people, they will own their issue?
It's my
right
disorder. It's my.
Here's a future one.
Fill in the blank.
Anxiety.
Yeah, my anxiety.
My anxiety.
Yeah, people really do own that generally. I have heard that so many times.
My anxiety.
My anxiety. It's like identified with anxiety. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now what anxiety is, and a lot of people might be like,
so think to the bow tie.
No, it's out of my control.
Think to the bow tie.
Bullshit.
The knots there now.
Anxiety, guess what? I hope our daughter's listening, because she would say that she had some anxiety. But really, it's anxiety is just focusing on the future that hasn't even happened yet.
Focusing on what you don't want.
A terrible outcome in the future
that hasn't
even happened yet. That's what anxiety really is.
Brings that idea into the
future.
Now.
Into the now. Yeah.
Into the now.
Yeah. So we feel all those feelings already, and it's like, has that event even happened yet?
And you know what? It may never happen.
No, but I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that's right, and that's why you're anxious, right? And trust me, I'm not making fun of people. No. I have suffered from, depression and things like that in my long past. I have. So we
have to get our heads around this, because when we get this sorted, we can then bring that into mind, brain, heart coherence.
Well, because so much of our brain is the subconscious mind, right? It is the unconscious, right?
But then that ties into the energy we're putting out into the field, which then our energy affects the reality that we perceive.
Dun, dun, dun.
Crazy
so true.
Shit, man.
It's true.
crazy.
It's true. You create your reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's the exciting part, you guys. That's not something to be
Scared about.
Like that's exciting. So take charge, right? And create your reality, man. You know?
Yeah. So when you think about everything and everybody that's around you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing this, right?
It's your fault.
There's three
It's
fingers.
all his
There's
fault.
3 fingers pointing back at the person
Kevin loves that
it's most likely.
These 3.
Yeah, there's 3 fingers pointing back at the person you've got to look at, and that's why I keep saying go look in the mirror.
Because the thing, yes,
that's where the solution is. Because if you're waiting for someone else to change, for you to be happy,
for you to feel better,
or for you to feel better, or for you to fill in the blank,
it doesn't work that way.
Don't freaking work that way, man.
No,
it just doesn't.
And that's why, like, we can get angry at ex-husbands because they misbehave or they act like dicks, you know,
or current husbands,
or current husband. Not you, dear.
Uh-huh.
Not you. But we do, right? And we want to like choke them. It happens. It does. But I mean,
or daughter-in-laws, son-in-laws, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws,
kids.
It doesn't matter. Because apparently you know best, right? Or we know best what someone else should do, but it's typically a projection of ourselves.
Well, and we have to take responsibility for the role we played in having these people in our lives, right? Whether it's biological, I mean, obviously, if it's blood relatives, there's, you know, but
that's another discussion.
That's a whole other discussion. But I mean, if this is a boyfriend or a past girlfriend or a ex-husband or whatever, it's like, okay, you can be mad at them all you want, but is that solving the problem for you?
So we watched another good movie last night. It was awesome.
No.
Everyone remembers back in the day, Danny DeVito.
Oh my God.
And Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh my God. What an 80s throwback that was. I have to admit, I thought it was funnier than it was. But but I was a kid when I watched it.
It was kind of a dark funny.
It was a dark, right? It was a dark comedy. But at the same time, it did get funny as it kind of went on. And then it ended up being, it was like, okay, that was kind of cute. But yeah, like it's funny how we perceive things differently when we're grown up.
But the interesting thing is that, what's the name of the actor, the main character?
Danny DeVito.
No, that was.
Oh, the other guy. Oh my goodness! If you hadn't asked me, I would have said it. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, he
That's
got
terrible.
Ripping upset.
Now I got to look it up.
Every time he talked about his ex-wife.
Yes.
Ripping upset all the time to the point of still wanting her dead.
Well, he didn't really want to kill her. He just
metaphorically said, but
metaphorically.
This, he went through something like some physiological thing every time that memory comes
yes
up,
he did. Yeah.
So it's a very interesting thing that we watched that last night. We were chatting about this morning. So
yeah, now I gotta look up who that is.
It wasn't Billy Crystal. I don't
yes
know.
It was. Yes, it was
Crystal?
Billy Crystal.
Oh, very young Billy Crystal.
That's exactly who it was.
I'm thinking Miracle Max.
Yeah, Billy Crystal.
Okay, I'm thinking Miracle Max from The Princess Bride.
Well, Billy was in The Princess Bride, right?
Yeah, he was Miracle Max.
Danny DeVito was too, wasn't he?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But
it's an interesting movie.
The old gal that was in it was the one that was in Goonies, and she was in a few different, like, she's a rough old gal, that one. Oh my goodness, she's a rough old gal. Holy. But anyway, yeah.
No, it's funny.
It was funny to watch it again. It really was. Like, my goodness. Yeah.
Well, why don't you guys think about that?
But that's exactly what they were both doing. They were both,
because this way of thinking, this metacognition of thinking about what you're thinking about, will help to bring yourself and certainly your reality and more people around you into coherence. Because when we change ourselves, everything outside has to change.
Yes,
it has to.
Well,
so
you even see things
changes
differently.
The dynamics of the relationships you have.
Yeah, because you see everything.
And we're saying that from experience.
Yeah.
This isn't just some random theory. And the interesting thing is we're not the only ones.
No, we aren't.
right? By far
Yeah.
on this planet
Yeah.
saying that.
Well, it's just we often hear this because I mean, people will say like we were like, how do I say this? Locally during these last few years, and we don't even have to go into all that, but Kevin and I were like, we were bringing people together, right? We were bringing people together. We were in our backyard, bringing people together in large groups at the park, having rallies, whatever, doing all these things. So
because something was off.
Something was off.
Something was desperately off.
And
you know what? It's still desperately off.
But we knew that we couldn't just sit back and do nothing, right? So, so we did do those things. We put ourselves kind of out there, of course, took the chance. You know, we were even told that we were being surveilled for doing that.
Well, the system doesn't like people like us.
The system doesn't like people who
probably still doesn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's another discussion all unto itself.
It is. Yeah, we could do that another time.
The way the construct has been made.
Yeah. Yeah.
In order to make sure that the sheep are in line.
But we're more about honestly at this point in our stage in our adventure, we're more about like how can we solve some of these problems. That's why our tagline is solving the world's problems over a cup of coffee. And maybe we don't always solve them, but at least we're trying. You know, at least we're talking about it.
Right. Yeah. And one thing that came clear to me in the last several weeks is that my purpose and our purpose potentially is to bring as many people together on this planet.
Yeah.
Because we need to create something new.
We do need to create something new.
Old systems are dying.
We can't
the fraud is.
We can't build on the old systems because
the old system.
They were designed for nefarious purposes. They were not.
The thing is, the old system has run its course.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's run its course, and it cannot be fixed.
Yeah.
It just can't.
No.
So because of that.
Yeah.
We just need to do something different.
Let's be creative.
And now for something completely different.
What was that from?
Monty Python, Flying Circus.
Right.
And now for something completely different.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone that thinks the same or is thinking that, you know, there is something desperately off.
Yeah.
A, we need to go looking. B, we have to deal with our own shit.
Well, I find that that's the biggest thing, actually. We all have to deal with.
And then we have to redirect that.
Our own.
All the energy that you would use to focus on your own shit.
Yeah.
We need to redirect it into creating something.
Well, this is what too, like in that movie, in that documentary, The Field last night, this is what I heard a couple people say actually, that as they were awakening, as they were becoming more aware, more conscious, more, you know, their gifts were becoming more apparent to them as well. They also realized that they had to take a long time and clear out a lot of baggage that they were carrying around.
Here's an awesome analogy.
So,
all right, a great analogy, and we use this in our trainings all the time, and that is that if anybody's familiar with flying, right, like in an airplane, not with substances, but in an airplane, why do you think they limit the baggage that you can take? Why do you think that is? Because they have to calculate all the baggage from all the passengers, including the weight of the aircraft, the weight of the crew, the weight of all the fuel, all the water, all the food, everything that device, shall I say.
I'll be right back.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to try to get out of this spot here. Oh my God.
Yes?
Jeepers. Sorry.
So anyway, the reason that they do that is because the plane has a capacity. And it needs to be under its capacity in order to actually get off the ground. So if we all took all our baggage with us, what do you think would happen to the airplane? All right, and I know you know the answer because it would just sail right off the end of the runway as it's trying to take off. So each one of us is like those airplanes. And if we have too much baggage, we're not getting off the runway at all. So when would now be a good time to look at getting rid of some and shedding some baggage so that we can all fly. And humanity, we're just a microcosm of what's really going on here, is that humanity as a whole has to shed its baggage. And I believe that's happening. There's more and more and more folks that are waking up and realizing that we have been duped, we have been enslaved, and it's now time to shine the light on all of that nefarious shenanigans, bullshit. But it's also time for us to shine the light on ourselves and realize that we are the shining light and we are more powerful than we've ever been led to believe. So if you really want to watch some really empowering stuff, watch Greg Braden, because he really gets into the science behind what a lot of us have known already inherently.
Yeah.
So
I like Greg.
Yeah, he really puts things.
He's really
in
well, he resonates with us. He's on our page.
Yeah.
We think the same
but it's
way.
just the way he explains it. There's
It
a really great. There's two 2 hour. There's an interview, one interview broken up into 2 pieces. Each are 2 hours.
Yeah.
And just
Brilliant.
they cover all sorts of ground.
They do.
It's super, super good to watch.
They do.
Remember who that guy was?
Well, I could put it. Yes, I can look
Hey,
it
we'll
up.
find the link and send it out.
I'll look it up.
Really, really good to watch.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Mhm.
I'll put it up. I'll at least get the guy's name, because then you can find him, because he has quite a presence online with his podcast.
And the other one to watch is Joe Dispenza talking to the Diary of a CEO guy.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
So we're just sharing some resources here because these folks
Yeah.
have been doing this for decades.
Yeah, they have.
And they really bring, because what's happened is that science and spirituality years ago, right, separated intentionally.
Yeah.
In order to push agendas by the science side of things. And what's happening now is that science is catching up with the ideas that, hey, Steve, how you doing?
Episode 10?
What?
Oh, well. Don't worry
that
about
one
it.
on the screen. Yeah. But it's actually 11. Good catch, Steve. I love it.
Oh my goodness, I screwed up. Sorry. It's because I just rolled out of bed and
Shenanigans.
Kevin was being hard on me, and I just
Hurry up. Come on.
lost my senses.
Yeah. But where was I? Joel, so science and no, I think it's 11, Steve. It is 11 for sure, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
But what's happened is that science is now really proving what people have known, like even ancient spiritual wisdom has known for like thousands of years.
Total shenanigans, according to Kevin. Steve, you're right.
Oh my goodness, shenanigans.
Yeah. So the guy that was interviewing him was Andre Ducum. So I'll just put that in here, and then you can find him on YouTube. He does really good interviews. He's very peaceful. He's very calm. He asks very intelligent questions. He lets the guests speak.
Yeah.
I'll just.
And Greg Braden.
Yeah. Interviewing Greg Braden.
So that's a very good question, Steve. Super good question. If people know this, is this people don't freaking trust themselves, do they?
Know what?
Right? Things that people have known for thousands of years is that people have been slowly disconnected from themselves and their inner truth.
Yeah, well, what's happening?
And their intuition.
What they talked about a lot too on that documentary last night, The One Field, they talked about how science has caught up to spiritual knowledge, and they basically have no choice now but to acknowledge it, because there's so much of it is unexplainable otherwise. So I think that's very interesting, actually.
Mhm.
Very interesting.
Well, it's actually super cool because
Yeah.
people that are in the idea of show me the proof
Yeah.
now have the fucking proof. Okay, because of the work of all these people. Because we now have the instruments and we have all the experiments and we have all those case studies that it's now undeniable that it is what it is.
And I think too, for most people, honestly, they really, when they say they want the proof, they want to experience it. And at least that's my experience the last 20 years, you know, being a therapist with people, is people want to have an experience. And the thing is that there's a certain methodology, right, to having those experiences, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to follow every single, like follow the exact same steps for every single experience, but
because it's different for everyone.
yeah, but I mean, you can't just do nothing.
Well, you can.
Well, you can.
You have your choice.
Good one, Kevin. Jeepers creepers.
You can.
What I mean is you can't just not do any, you know, exploration of your soul, do any meditating. You know, you can't just do nothing, right? And then think that you're going to have some powerful experience. I mean,
and that happens though.
It does. It can happen. It's just, if you really want it to happen, then I would suggest do some work. Do some meditating, do some intended, you know, clear away the clutter so that you can actually connect with it, right? So clear away the clutter from, and the programming, like you mentioned, Steve, clear away that programming that we have all been programmed with. We've all been subject to programming, whether we like it or not. It's a fact. I mean, that's not even debatable at this point.
But there must come a time at some point.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
No.
However,
if you want to progress, I think, in yourself and evolve in yourself, I think that
because if you think the science is settled,
no,
you're fucking mistaken.
They're still figuring
That's
it out.
just a line to make sure that you do not look any further.
Yeah.
And think that there is, oh, the science is settled.
No.
You know, where did we hear that? When did we hear that?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're still figuring all this stuff out, you know?
No, but it's becoming clearer. And I think there's been a lot of people, and certainly, I mean, Steve, we mentioned a documentary we watched last night called The One Field.
I'll write that in here, actually. The One Field.
So it's a spectacular documentary. Have a look at it because it shows the power.
It's free on
YouTube. It shows the power of collective intention to actually not manipulate, but affect the field, right? And reality at the end. So,
and I felt, I'll be honest with you, watching it, I was just like, oh, I feel so privileged that I was exposed to these people, some of these people that were in this documentary. I was exposed to their work over 20 years ago, right? When I was learning craniosacral therapy from the Upledger Institute. That's a plug for the Upledger Institute. But I mean, they were sharing this information back then. They were sharing Lynn McTaggart's information and had her books for sale at the courses, and you know, they were teaching that information. So I mean, I just feel privileged that I got to learn it.
And there's lots more science and research available on resonance and vibration and frequency.
Yes, I think that's the future, to be honest with you.
What do you think a med bed might be? Something you friggin' lie on with all kinds of frequencies. It does a bioscan, and then it says, okay, these are the frequencies that have to go into this biology in order to make it good. And they've done the experiments, and that's in the One Field documentary, actually.
The irony is that this isn't even new.
No, it's not.
It's ancient technology that we're rediscovering, really.
I remember watching this YouTube video of these. It was these 3 medical professionals.
Oh yes.
In China at a hospital dealing with a lady
long time ago
that had a tumor. I guess it was the size of a little baseball or something. and they had the lady on the table, and had the ultrasound, right, showing the tumor. Like, so on the screen you could see the tumor, right, and these 3 guys started toning with their mouth, toning, and they brought the harmonics with the 3 of them into alignment, and on the screen you could see the tumor just do this. On the screen live. So it's like,
what's really going on here?
What's going on there?
Yeah. See, there is a very real reason why, like, we're really getting into like some heavy stuff here, but there's
got to be talked about.
It does.
It has to be.
Where are you going?
Well, there's a cat that wants in, I think.
Oh, there's a very real reason why the medical system doesn't want alternative therapies and alternative medicines as part of their system, because it actually works and doesn't cause harm typically. So, there's a lot of value to that. And I think, me personally, I would love to see a system that has both. I think
everything
that the
has
medical
a purpose, right?
Yeah, I think
Everything
the medical system has a purpose. I mean, if I have an emergency, I want to land in an emergency room.
If you break your leg.
Yeah. Like if I cut something off, I want it fixed, so it's just a fact. So, I mean, they serve a purpose, and I mean, it's not to throw all of them out with the baby with the bathwater,
or similar
whatever.
To the idea that science is now catching up to the idea of the field and energy and frequency and vibration. They have no choice but to come together. So what if, this is a what if question, we as highly creative individuals, men and women, that know how to our ingenuity can solve any problem that exists.
Our creativity.
What if we were able to, I mean, who here says, oh, I hate the medical system, or I hate the education system, or I hate the fill in the blank system?
Yeah.
What if we just create something new that might be a combination of this and that?
Yeah.
And then figure out how we can all work together in order to produce the results we want.
Yeah.
Because right now the system is producing the results it wants.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact.
And
because the system has been designed around agenda.
That's right. And we have
and it's not to our benefit.
We have talked to doctors in the system, and they feel the same way.
Yeah.
Right. They're not happy about the fact that they can't suggest things to people that are considered alternative.
Why even have that fucking word?
I know it shouldn't be alternative. But I mean, I'll speak from my experience. I landed in the hospital a few years ago because I had a whole bunch of seizures in a row.
0 on the fun scale.
0 on the fun scale for Kevin. I'm sorry, dear.
I'm having the last of the coffee.
Go for it. But I came close to death, quite a few times in a very short period of time. And so Kevin was just like, oh my God, like we gotta like get something done here. Right. Because it was just getting a little too much.
Enter the neurologist.
And we're talking about like grand mal seizures, right?
Oh,
like the whole bit. It's not pretty. It really isn't. I made him record it a few times, but it's not pretty. But anyway, the point is a few years ago, I had a whole series of seizures where I landed on the floor. We were staying at your mom and dad's at the time when this happened. And finally, I gave in and said, fine, okay, I'll go to the hospital, whatever. So we went in, and I ended up in the hospital.
Strapped to a bed.
No, that was a different time.
Oh, that was a different time?
Jeepers, Kevin.
Oh.
No. I'm not impressed right now.
Whatever.
No, you're
talking about falling out of windows before and all kinds of shit.
You're referring to the wrong moment.
Really?
Yes. Anyway, the point is, I think so. Oh my God.
See.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So
I had a series of seizures.
Enter the neurologist.
Yes, enter the neurologist.
And MRIs and CAT scans. There was no cats in there.
No, I did all that shit. But anyway, the point is that the neurologist didn't know what to do with me because
why?
I wouldn't take the drugs. So she was
That's
honest
not
with me. She's like,
normal.
I don't know what you want me to do with you if you won't take the drug, because all they know how to do is diagnose and write a prescription for drugs. So I kind of put her hands, kind of tied her hands, you know, so she was sort of like,
You're the anti-drug girl.
yeah. So you know what she did?
And that's not from not trying them, because we were looking for answers. And this is the point.
Yeah.
Is that we are looking for answers. How many times have you heard, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know, where the medical professional who's supposed to know all looks at you and says, we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. They're being honest when they say that. They really don't know. And in that case, and in my case, that's what happened. But we don't know what's happening. So I had to go on this big journey over these since 2014. Actually, it's been 10 years of discovery, trying to yes, trying to figure out what the root cause of the seizures is, and it's been 0 on the fun scale, honestly. But anyway, the point that I'm making is I landed in the hospital, and the neurologist did this. She did not feel comfortable even expressing anything to me in the open. She literally went like this: just so you know, the ketogenic diet has been shown to help with the seizures.
Quietly,
she quietly bedside whispered it to me, a diet that could help with seizures.
Oh, because the system doesn't like doctors doing that, because guess what? We have fucking nutritionists. Yeah. And they're the experts in nutrition. No. Right? You can't say none of that shit, because you're now stepping on their toes.
No, but they
cutting their fucking grass.
They give very bad nutrition.
No, anyway, regardless.
Anyway, the point is that she felt she needed to whisper it to me. And of course, you know, I went on a big search, and I knew that I did research and found that the ketogenic diet was helpful for epilepsy. And they knew this back in the 80s. So
there was a really good movie, right, called Do No Harm. First, Do No Harm.
Yes.
And it's in the 80s movie, and it's about a child that has epilepsy.
Yeah.
With the child's mother desperately seeking answers.
Yep.
Desperately seeking answers.
Yeah.
Because this kid was on the playground with a helmet on.
Yeah. And every drug under the sun,
and they ended up at the Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting movie, because a super strict ketogenic diet worked for this child.
Yeah.
And there was actually people in the movie, extras in the movie, that had also, and they had been seizure free for 10 years, 12 years. And they say it at the end of the movie.
And I think that the ketogenic diet is effective, especially for children, because they haven't got a whole, like 30 years, we'll say, or whatever, like many decades of eating stuff that has accumulated in their bodies, and
the garbage they feed us.
Yeah. Like oxalates too, like all these things.
But it's a journey, right?
It is a journey.
You got to pull the layers off.
Oh my God.
And the one nice thing is that, like, we tried the drug, one of the drugs, and within a week and a half, she wanted to kill herself and put her head through a wall.
Literally.
So, and that wasn't even at the full dose. That was during the loading
dose.
Was,
when they were titrating it up, and I was at the lowest possible dose, and I was like, no, this isn't working.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And some people say, why don't you just take the fucking medicine?
Just take the drug.
Take the damn drug. It's worked for my friend.
No.
Yeah, I'm not, she's not your friend.
No.
That has it. So if it works for him, fine. Go for it.
It's kind of like those, go let the cat out.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of like those commercials, especially in the States. I don't know about Canada because I don't watch TV in Canada. But when we were in the States, coming up through the States from Mexico, driving, we, were in the hotel. So we popped the TV on to see what was on. And oh my goodness, the pharmaceutical commercials, like, whoa, oh my gosh. That was crazy. But it's like when they say, oh, this drug, it might help with your depression, but it might just make you want to kill yourself too. But that's okay. Give it a try. And I'm just like, no.
Something's desperately wrong.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that, keep going in your little world.
Yeah.
Right?
Stop. You're being harsh.
Sorry, man. It's fucking truth time, folks. Right? This year in particular is fucking truth time.
Yeah. So anyway,
Just saying.
Kevin, honestly,
It's time.
yeah. So
We
yeah,
gotta hammer this shit out because things ain't working.
the answer isn't always just to take a drug. Like that's
No,
not the answer.
You have been led to believe.
Yeah, we've been programmed to believe that that's the answer, but it really, really isn't.
And the words are led to believe.
I've seen it multiple times, you guys. Like as a therapist, I've worked closely with clients and for 20 years, and I've seen it over and over and over. I could almost I could know before I even look at someone's chart, a new client, I would know if they were on blood pressure and cholesterol medication and antidepressants, and like you just get so that you can see
and I need
what it looks
that
like.
drug to counteract the side effects of that drug.
Yeah, it just
does
goes,
that make any fucking sense to anybody?
It just goes on and on and
Nobody.
on. Yeah. So we would like to do better, right? We would like to do better, and
it starts with dealing with our shit.
It does. Because a
Making
lot of
some
that,
choices.
honestly, I believe I've seen this over and over and over again. A lot of it is fear.
Yes, truth bomb, Steve. It's friggin' time, buddy.
It's totally truth bomb time.
It's time.
It's fear of death, right?
Fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown.
Anxiety about the unknown.
And oftentimes, and listen, people might not want to hear this, but this is what we've seen over and over and over again. It's fear of death, fear of the unknown.
Fear of not being enough.
Yeah, it's belief that you're not enough, that you have to look up to a doctor or some other authority to tell you what to do. These are all beliefs that you hold in your mind that if you were to let them go, let me tell you, transformative.
Metacognition. Think
very
about what you're thinking about.
transformative.
And remember, one of my stories at the very beginning of this series, all right, was the doctor asking the patient, so tell me,
Yeah.
who's taking care of your heart?
Well, you better damn well be taking care of your heart, because nobody
What's the
else
answer?
can do it.
Right?
They're just going to give you drugs that are going to cause other problems, right? I saw it happen in my own family. I watched my own parents do it. I know that contributed.
And that's not to say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you
right.
should be the one. That's the only answer that I would come up with.
That's right.
But we know what the intention was behind that question.
That's right.
Because the system has designed it that way, that you can't take care of yourself. You have to go and ask someone else to do it for you.
Yep. Totally.
So,
well,
yes.
even for me, as like they say I have epilepsy, but they're not even sure if it's epilepsy. It's just I have grand mal seizures. So, but I mean, even with me, they make me have a neurologist. Like I have to have a neurologist in order to ever get if I ever want to get my license back to drive, because I haven't driven for 10 years, right? In order for me to get my license back, I have to go, I think it's 6 months without any seizures at all, 6 months or more. And I have to have a neurologist basically sign off on that.
No, the thing is that you have to be monitored. And this is the point, is you have to be monitored. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
At 62, I can say that no drugs are ever the answer. The root cause is always the key. That's right.
100% root cause. Right. We love that shit.
I'll tell you, it hasn't been easy finding the root cause, but
so here's the interesting thing is that because she wasn't on any medication, what it was able to do for us is that the medication was not masking anything.
That's right.
Because all it's designed to do is to start changing brain chemistry or counteracting brain chemistry.
That's right.
Or whatever.
Which was going to impact.
Which was then going to mask the ability for us to start investigating what, and I said this bluntly to the neurologist on the phone. Yeah. I said, we have found that there is a hormonal connection because of the frequencies, or we feel that there's a hormonal connection because of the frequencies of the seizures. So why not
explore the hormone connection
road, and maybe we can figure out.
But remember when we went to the clinic, because we didn't have a family doctor, but we went to the walk-in clinic and she was a family doctor. Remember that? Don't say her name.
Oh, I remember that one.
And I told her that I've made a connection to the hormones with the seizures, and she laughed at me.
Yeah.
She actually laughed at me. Oh my God. There's no
Hormones don't
connection.
cause
Hormones
seizures.
don't connect. See what the?
And I'm like,
No.
you're fucking fired.
We fired
See
her
you later.
ass.
But here's the other interesting thing too, is that we went to the specialist in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Oh yeah, the epileptologist.
Epileptologist.
Yeah.
Right? Sounds like something that you're looking into tombs and,
Yeah.
you know, pyramids and shit.
So get this, we go and we go to all the way to Toronto, and we go in to the office.
And how long were we in the office?
Literally sat down, and within seconds, I kid you not, he turns around to me and he's like, "Oh, you would be a great candidate for surgery, for brain surgery." I'm like,
Within minutes.
you haven't even asked me questions. Like, you haven't even like looked at what?
Mhm.
No. I said, no, you're not cutting my brain open.
Mhm.
He's like, oh, you'd be a great candidate. There's nothing structurally wrong in my brain. There's nothing physically wrong in my brain. How can you possibly think that it's a good idea to go in there cutting when there's nothing to cut out or repair, apparently? So, yeah. Anyway, that's just
So
my experience.
That's our experience.
That's our experience.
But the point is that we're willing to keep looking.
We are. Absolutely.
And the instant we say, this is it,
Yeah.
guess what? You're right.
I'm thinking that the low oxalate diet is going to be a good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. After all the studying and research I've done. So look it up. Low oxalate diet. It's the book is
Oxalic
called
acid.
Oxalic acid, but the book is called Toxic Superfoods by Sally Norton. I cannot recommend that book enough. I've read it like 4 times. She's the only one, from what I can see, that has really done the research on
And what's her
this.
description of an oxalate? What's that description?
It's a poison?
No, but oxalates act like little tiny razor knives.
Yeah, they do in the body.
in the body.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the thing is that they, oxalates are a whole, maybe I'll bring Sally on one day and we'll talk to her, because I've already talked to her about interviewing her, because she's done amazing work.
So here's the story.
Amazing work.
Here's the story. So years ago, there was someone that had, what was the symptoms? It was like brain fog, and it was like a complete disconnection from like numbness, like severe. Went to the hospital, and this is me, this is someone else. I will not name names.
No.
So I can't remember. It was like 4 or 6 hours in the emergency with spinal tap later to check for meningitis, etc., and nothing. Like severe headaches and stuff like that. So what they did was they prescribed Imitrex. Now, if you know Imitrex, it is a migraine medicine.
Mm.
The pill is super, super tiny at $20 each
Per pill.
per pill.
Wow.
We're talking like 1 cubic millimeter.
And that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now it would probably cost a lot more.
So, okay. So take the drugs, get knocked out for 3 days.
Basically.
Still issues. Well, let's go see the chiropractor. Chiropractor also dealt with energy, etc. Was able to test some body
The
systems.
flow of the cerebrospinal fluid around the brain and spinal cord.
And their conclusion was there was something with the gallbladder.
Oh, right. Yeah. I
Or
remember
something
this
like
story.
that.
Yeah.
And $20 in supplements, no issues.
Yeah.
No more issues. So what the fuck is going on there, folks?
God, Kev.
No, but really,
Yeah.
like what's going on?
Yeah.
What's really going
Yeah,
on?
but the thing is that generally speaking, okay, this is not to attack the medical system, by the way, but generally speaking, the medical system doesn't go beyond
It's very limited
the symptoms
in its scope.
right? It doesn't
Intentionally.
Yeah. And so it's and let's face it, they don't have time to spend with patients, right? So it's
No.
just like they're on a treadmill, you know? And so it's just see the next patient, give a prescription. See the next patient, give a prescription.
We'll
See
find
the
a
next patient,
specialist.
give a prescription.
2 years later.
Yeah, refer them out to
2 years
somebody.
later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun times, folks.
Totally.
What do we want instead?
Yeah. If you really want to see a specialist, you should probably like go to
Medical
another
tourism.
country.
Go to friggin' India, man.
Go to India. You'll
You get a CAT scan
like
for
that.
$50
the
instantly.
day that you're there, you'll see a
Instantly.
specialist. You don't, and it doesn't
I
cost
need an
a lot.
ENT. Let me call on my cell phone. Can you-
Yeah.
yeah, come on down.
Like that was our experience in India. Like I mentioned that my son needed to see a ear, nose, throat specialist. And I was like, oh, we need to find a doctor. And then the doctor needs to write a prescription or a referral to the specialist. And the guy that we were staying with, he's like, no, just a second. And he called him up on his phone. He's like, hey, yeah, go on down. It's no problem. You can just walk in off the street. And I was like,
So,
you're a specialist?
Yeah.
What the hell?
oh yeah, here, just walk down the street and get a CAT scan.
Yeah.
No problem. Here's the results. Take this back to the doctor.
Yeah.
$50 later.
Yeah.
So they are wrongly educated. I'll tell you this, they are perfectly educated.
They're perfectly educated
The
for what they're
system-
doing.
The system
Yeah.
is designed
They are.
exactly the way it was.
Yeah.
All right, for a purpose.
For a purpose, yeah.
It is working perfectly to their agenda.
Yeah.
So they are perfectly educated in a place where they don't have all the information. Everything is compartmentalized.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's right. It's only for that agenda
Yeah.
that it is.
Yeah.
So we have
And
to ask, what do we
anybody
want to
within
say?
the system, any doctors within the system, even nurses, lots of nurses have left the system because it's frustrating as hell. I mean, I think that people generally, and I'm not speaking for everyone, but generally people go into that system because they actually care about people.
Well,
you
I
know,
think
they
a
actually
lot
wanna
of
help.
people actually enter these system-related professions
Because they want to help.
because they want to help. And that's
You know?
noble.
And
Even
then
me
they-
going in as a cop, I wanted to help people.
And then you get in
And that
there
was
and you
fucking destroyed
realize,
super fast.
yeah, then you get in there and realize that that's not what it's about anymore. And that's really unfortunate. It truly, truly is, because it's like we're wasting these great resources of people who want to make a difference, and they absolutely get in there and realize that their hands are tied. There's nothing that they can do to make a difference, except, I mean, of course, you know, a nurse could make a difference by being kind to a patient, or a doctor could make
And
a
that's
difference
being
by
destroyed
by
too.
going above and beyond, you know, or whatever with their patient or whatever it might be. Just these small little, well, they're big really, but small little.
Yeah, same here. I
extras.
haven't been to a doctor in a long time.
Yeah, you haven't.
The
You
last,
haven't.
the last time I was at a doctor was in Vancouver,
Yeah.
North Vancouver. I had coughed for like 5 hours. I figured, what the hell's going on here? I gotta go in. So I went in, sat and emerged for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, and did a bunch of tests or whatever. And the doctor comes in with the little resident beside him
Oh my
and says,
God.
well, Mr. Dunn, I think you just have allergies. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I spent $625 and 4 hours sitting here for you to tell me that I just have allergies.
Well, you went there.
I know. What do
Yeah.
I expect?
What do you
right?
expect?
What do I expect?
He didn't have his health card for BC, so
And
he had to
I
pay
didn't
for
have my
it.
Costco pizza either.
No, he didn't. Oh, Kevin, dear Lord.
So this
But you
is
know
very
what?
super strange. Here,
Let's like, I want to tell this quick story about my uncle. Maybe I already told it. Did I already tell it on this
I don't
show?
think so.
Okay,
120?
Yeah. My uncle Willie, back in New Brunswick, he was 100 and how old did I say?
7, I think.
7. Yeah. I think he was 107.
Being at home taken care of by his 80-year-old kids.
80-some-year-old daughters. But anyway, this is cool though, because when he was 100, I believe he was 107. Is it 103 or 107? I'm going to get it wrong. Gail will correct me.
Well over 100.
He was well over 100. I'm pretty sure he was 107. But anyway, he was finally getting close to the end, you know, had something wrong with him or whatever. Like obviously
Went to
he
the
was
hospital.
slowing down. He was not well. So his daughters took him to the hospital, and they lived quite a ways from the hospital. So like probably close to an hour. So anyway, they take him into the city to the hospital, and my mom told this story because it was her uncle, but he went into the hospital and the doctors were like, Mr. Thomas, we don't
We
have
don't.
a file on you.
We don't have any records on you.
Yeah. And he said, well, dear, that's because I've never been to a hospital.
Guess what the response to that was?
That's why you're 107.
Hmm.
That's actually what the response was. That's why you're 107. You're 107 because you've never been to the hospital before, not the other way around.
So
Right?
think about this.
So
What if
that's a pretty powerful
what if-
statement.
humanity, us, we, had not been messed with? Meaning, we haven't been over chemicalized, GMO'd, poisoned from the air,
Yeah.
poisoned from the water, poisoned from the food, poisoned by our electromagnetic environment. Like, what if?
We have no
What
idea
if?
how healthy we could potentially be if all those things were not in play.
What if?
You know,
It's been perfectly designed.
it'd be cool to experience it.
It is. And I think we're going to get back to that.
I would love to get back to that.
Mhm.
That would be so cool.
So what do we want instead, folks?
Yeah. Yeah. What do we want instead?
Now is the time for those of us that think this way, that are creative. And because the thing is, we all know what's wrong with the system. And from our own perspective, there's things that we don't like about whatever. What do we want instead? So instead of sitting around and yakking about, what's wrong, and for us, these are just stories.
Yeah.
But we really like to think we just have to make our mental shift now of trying to figure out solutions. And the solution is out there.
We don't have all the solutions.
No, we don't.
We've got lots of great ideas, I think, but we would love other people to kind of jump in and tell us what you think the solutions could be, because we need to do it. We need to work on it.
And the thing is that we don't want to say that it's all garbage, because it's not.
No, it's not.
Is what can we use? What's working and what isn't? We know that the results that system A, B, or C are giving us are not the results that, and I'm going to say this, humanity should have.
No.
It's just that there's certain elements that could maybe be repurposed so that we can all exponentially rise.
Yep.
So what do we want instead? Let's get together. Let's have those conversations. And there's people that are doing this all over the planet.
There are. And
like full time.
There are.
For free.
Yes. And there's people doing it that are technocrats that are figuring it out for us, because the people aren't becoming forthright enough and saying that they're working on it, because these technocrats, they like to think that they're in
charge.
So I don't know about you guys, but I don't want these sane bastards deciding my future.
We're okay working with them.
Well, if they realize what they've done wrong.
But I think what's historically happened is that there has been so much less involvement by the people.
Yeah.
Because we've been stuck into the survival loop.
Yep.
Where we have no more energy to think about anything other than surviving.
Just our families.
Which is intentional, by the way.
Yep. All by design.
We're the only fucking planet, or only species on this friggin' planet that pays to exist here.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. The only one.
Yeah. So we need to do better.
Well, what do we want instead?
We got to get involved. We can't sit back and let other people make those decisions for us. And we also know it's been proven that meditating does make a difference. Mm-hmm. So please do that. So
even if you're in the 80%, you just want to sit and I support you, but just leave me alone.
Send out good energy, right?
At least do that, because we need your energy
intention
in the field,
to
help affect the reality we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really can. You really can do that. They've proven it, right? That's not even a question anymore. So
If you need the scientific evidence of that, it's
Yeah.
there.
it is there.
Go get it.
Totally there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm out of coffee.
Me too. Look, I'll prove it. I'll prove it. See? All gone.
All gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a lot of ground today. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's Jules saying there? Every thought, word, action. Yeah.
Purposely done.
Will change
Will
things.
change
100%.
things. Absolutely.
100%.
Focused intention. You know, call it meditation, call it prayer, call it focused intention, call it
Whatever you
whatever
want.
the hell you
Doesn't
want.
matter what you call
I
it.
don't care. But
all the
please
same.
do it. Please do it. Yeah.
So we're also going to put a link to a meditation that I did 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago.
You're welcome, Steve. Thank you for being here.
With a vision of a potentially beautiful future that we can actually focus on, embody, feel,
Yeah.
and actually go through the exercise of putting it in our future. It's
Yeah.
a timeline meditation. So we will put that link
Mm-hmm.
in the channels, the various channels. Right?
Will we really?
We will. You
In
will.
other words, I will.
You
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be
That's
my
her
job.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I hope we didn't, you know,
Take you by surprise by not having it yesterday and having it today.
no.
Either.
I mean,
Here we are.
shit happens, right? So it's fine. But we thank you for being here. And if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, just send us a message and let me know, I should say. Send me a message. I did your med a couple years ago through
Yeah.
Ontario Group.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So keep going, spread it.
Yes.
Because the more of us, and this is what the collective is all about.
Yeah.
When the collective energetically gets together and says, we want something different,
Yes.
that's when our energy is going to start affecting the field so that the reality can then be realized.
Yes. We
All
need
right.
to be doing this, you guys. Like we really, really do. We need to be active participants in our lives, right? We really do. And, you know, the creation of the future is up to us. So let's do it. Let's work on it.
What would happen if?
What would happen if we did?
What would happen if?
Yeah. So, like I said, you can direct message me if you want to share anything with me, if you want us to talk about certain topics. Kevin and I like to talk, as you can tell. So we're totally open. And we are figuring out how to bring other people on to actually talk to us, like not just type, but talk to us. So we're working on that. So just be patient. And yeah, so the next one is going to be Tuesday because Wednesday we're taking off, right? So
Yes.
Tuesday morning will be the next one. I don't know if we do Thursday, it'll be on the road, but that's okay. We could do that, you know, for something fun to do. But anyway, that's that. So we've gone long enough, an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a bit long. So
No, we've gone exactly
as long as,
we
need to. Yes, dear.
A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely as he means to. All right?
Oh my God, Kevin.
Well,
Whew.
that's true.
Okay. Yes, it was a great chat. So we'll see you guys on Tuesday morning, 9:30 Eastern.
Ish. Coffee in hand.
Coffee in hand.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.